start. Welcome everyone then to today's webinar from STEM to Stars. It's really a pleasure to have you all here. And I want to start by thanking who made this event possible. So Women in Aerospace Europe and the Italian local group of ROOM. This webinar is just the first of a series that we are organizing as ROOM local group for the coming months. And all the invited guests will be special representatives of the international aerospace and STEM fields that we consider are left or are leaving a substantial mark in our sector. And then they are contributing to make a better and more gender equal place. And we want the Women in Aerospace members to meet the special people, to know them and to be inspired by them. And so this is thought as a moment of exchange of ideas and experiences. I will give you now a few information about the webinar. During the first part, we will all have the chance to listen to our guest presentation. So I ask you to turn off your cameras and microphones now so that we can better enjoy her words. While in the second part, you will be invited to turn on your cameras again. And if you have any question for our guest, please book your spot by writing in the chat your number and your name. So I can make an example. So if I were the first one, I would turn on the chat, insert the number and my name. So you can see it in the chat right now. When your turn comes, I will call your name and you can turn on the microphone and directly ask your question. Okay, so for today's webinar, I have the pleasure to introduce you Donatella Ricci. And welcome, Donatella. I'm really glad you accepted our invitation and I'm happy that you're here with us today. For who don't know her yet, Donatella was born and grew up in Rome, where she graduated as an astrophysicist. Her doctoral studies focused on black holes, and her work was awarded with an internship at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center in California. Back to Italy, she was offered a program manager position at Telespazio, and in these years, Donatella discovers her passion for flight, which leads her to embrace a new career in the aviation industry. She's now working as program manager at Leonardo Helicopter in Venice, in Italy. She's a licensed hot air balloon and helicopter pilot, and she's also an ultralight aircraft instructor at Flight School Club Papere Vagabonde in Venice. She's particularly specialized in gyroplane, the type of aircraft that she used for the solo flight, which gave her the world altitude record in 2015. She's also active within several associations, and she's the founder of Flight Donna, which is an international meeting of pilot women. So, Donatella, your experience is really, really impressive. But let's start from the beginning. So where does your passion for the stars come from? And how did you realize that the aeronautical field was the right choice for you?
Okay, thanks, Alessia. Thanks, first of all, for this invitation. It's a big pleasure for me, really, to be here and to have the possibility to talk to everyone. The question that you pose is not so easy, and as you say, let's start from the beginning. I think that really, if you are able to look on your beginning, that means when you're born in the family, you can understand many things of what is your attitude and your environment for the future. So checking my beginning, I can say, as you say, I was born in Rome in the 60s, so many years ago, but was really a different society from middle-class family with the other two sisters older than me and two brothers younger than me. And unfortunately, but it was good. My family was, my father was, in my family was a male dominated family. That means that my brothers were allowed to do many things that I was not allowed to do, and they were just not doing anything like I was doing. So from the beginning, I just realized some differences that were, for some aspect, influencing also my future. But also, my father was requesting to me to do a kind of different, how to say, different instruction. Means he was requesting to do a classical study, teaching, so to do a family, so several things that were not just matching with my will. So since the beginning, I just started in a kind of challenge with my father and with my family, looking and trying to find what was really my way, what was my I can say my dream. But at the beginning, it's just something that you have inside, and you know that you want to follow. So I decided to start with not with the classical study, with scientific study. I discovered an incredible passion for the sky, I joined a group of amateur astronomers very young, start studying the sky. I think it was a kind of fascination for the immensity, for the totally unknown things, but probably I think it was also another way, another challenge for me, something that was unknown. And so I started studying the sky as a present for my birthday, that 18 years birthday. I asked for a big telescope that was totally unusual for that time, because it was of course it was not for my father a female present as it was supposed to be, but I think I always decided to follow another road, not the one that was supposed from my father. And I found I was fascinating. I think the correct word is fascinated by many things that were not known to me. So after the scientific study, I decided to do physics, and after with the final astrophysics direction. And but after that, I decided also to look for fellowship and to do to try to spend some time in America, in the USA. You have to just imagine that at that time, this kind of decision was not so easy. Now we have Erasmus, we have many things that are just reducing the distance. At that time, there was no Zoom, there was no internet, there were just few channels for communicating with the family. So to decide to go abroad, like in that case, the America for me was for my family something really strong, something that was impacting a lot. But also for me, because it was the first time, the first in family, the first time to me to test myself. Another challenge, something that it was unknown to me, but it was the way I decided to follow. After, you say, I decided to, and so for many reasons, the aeronautical choice together with the passion for the sky was just linked together from the beginning. What was very new is the second part, so let's say, the flight itself, not just the aeronautical activity. The possibility to do a PhD and to start working for the industry that you say Telespazio was just the beginning of several other activity experience, absolutely good in the frame of aeronautical experience, and that really opened to me a lot of other windows. I decided at that time to stop the university, the career at the university, because otherwise there was also that possibility. But I decided that the the career on the industry, at least the what was at that time Finmeccanica, means the aerospace and aeronautical industry was absolutely the best solution for me. So I think, just going back to your question, I think it was just the beginning of my life. I don't know why. There are some persons that have some seed, and one of the seed was just look on the sky and try to find something that you don't know. One of my incredible things, I spent many hours every summer to learn the name of all the stars. For me, was absolutely important, and also to say something very positive, to have the possibility to call the star with their name. I know that's just something, nothing, because I mean the name is just something that we gave to them. But it was a way for me to say I know that sky, I know the star, I know the story behind the star, because I was studying a lot of things for understanding the color or whatever. And this is the reason that also the thesis, and so the PhD thesis on the black hole. The black hole, I think, is just the typical the name that you can just put everything, because we don't know anything. And it was a great thesis, and I think it's just the summary probably. So the beginning, everything is the beginning.
Okay. Thank you very much. It was inspiring. But we mentioned before that you are also a hot air balloon pilot and helicopter pilot and ultralight aircraft instructor. So what about your passion for flight? How did you approach flight for the first time? And well, you clearly felt in love with.
This is another good question. Also in this case, like other situation, it was just for fun. I was not, no one in my family was related in some way with the flight. I know now that my mother was having a passion of the flight, but no one was really related to the flight. And no one is flying, no one is connected, no one is doing anything. And I said, I have 2 other sisters and 2 other brothers, but a nephew, but no one is involved. I started by looking for a drawing of balloon that was just a simple present for a friend. Just a second. And at the end, I discovered a course for becoming hot air balloon observer. That means the judge during a competition of hot air balloon. Consider that for me, the hot air balloon was totally unknown. And so becoming a judge of a competition, something completely unknown, was more than a fun. So I decided to start because it was a challenge, another challenge for me, and really something unknown. And after the first flight with hot air balloon, because the judge during a competition has to stay inside the basket with the pilot. So after the first flight, I just realized that was another way for me. I mean, it was impossible to imagine, because it's absolutely something that you must try to understand. And so I decided, okay, let's do the observer. But after 2 years, I decided that it was better to fly my balloon and to decide decide to fly my life in a certain manner. And I started the license. That was a long way, but it was unbelievable also, because at that time there were, let's say, 50 hot air balloon pilots all around Italy, no more, 40, 50. And there were just 2 ladies, and with me 3. So there were just a very limited number of women involved, And I was considered at the beginning absolutely anomalous, as I say, a white fly inside the environment. And that is the aeronautical situation. That was the aeronautical situation at that time, not only hot air balloon. After a while, I was flying, doing a lot of competition and meeting in Italy outside. I discovered, it was really a discovery, the engine. So I discovered the plane, ultralight plane, the helicopter, the gyro. And so I decided to start also this adventure, because it was another unknown and challenging to me. And now, I mean, many things, but at the end, I was falling in love with the gyro, because the gyro is a very incredible machine. I'm here now in the club that you say, Papa de Vagabond. There is a fly school, and we have many possibility to fly also with helicopter, with plane. And I decided also to do some, to do the rating for being a instructor. And so after step by step, one of the things that really, I think, characterizing my habits is just, if there is something unknown, I'm not doing just one, I mean, I'm used to do step by step and to start from the beginning, looking around, checking. I'm not the person that wants just to go fast. I'm sure that if you know, if you understand that you want to reach something and decide to you have this feeling, because you can understand what you want, you can just go straight, slowly, whatever, but go straight and reach whatever you want to reach. There is no really the need to reach the top of whatever. But if you want to go, I think step by step you can do whatever, really whatever.
Okay, but we can say that you reached the sky in every sense, and you also are a person that aims really high. And I know that in 2008 you were among the 5 women and 10 men who also made it into the final selection to become an European astronaut. So what about that experience?
That experience, well, at the beginning was unbelievable. For at the end, I just have, for many years, a very negative feeling, because the result was something that you can intend as a defeat of your, I mean, it was not a good solution. But it was also in that case, it was just for fun. I mean, to become an astronaut is something that I think many persons have in the mind. And it was just middle of August, the delivery of a lot of documents to be provided for this selection. That was the Italian selection, the first, the only unique Italian selection for becoming an Italian astronaut inside the European community. And so I decided to try, because it was something, just a dream. And we, from the beginning batch of around 1,000 persons, after several selections, because we start in August and we ended more or less February. At the end, there were selected 5 women and then 10 men, as you say. And the last test was a physical test. I mean, just to do a completely check-up, let's say. But at the end, all the 5 women were discarded for, let's say, healthy reason. But no one, there were no reason at all, because also for me they were just the diagnosis was a very bad situation if one on inside, but it was completely wrong. So at the end they discard all the 15 persons and no one was selected. That was very bad, but at least I was convinced until the end, just reached the end, and we didn't succeed. And if you just see the complete picture, means this was 2000, around the year 2000, and the selection that was at the end selecting Samantha Cristoforetti was in 2009. It was the European, not the Italian. So that means for me that probably in 2000 was really too early to have a woman inside the Italian astronaut. And so I just decided to accept. But it was not easy. It was not easy because the negative feeling was that it was a totally defeat for my dream, of course. So I just realized that you can lose sometimes some battle. You can accept to lose some battle, but in this case, doesn't mean that you lose your time. You just want to focus on something else. And so I decided to focus on additional things. And as for example, Fledonna, what do you say?
Yes. Well, we can say that was the starting then of a series of very beautiful things also in the aeronautical field then because Fledonna is an example.
Exactly. Fledonna is an example, and it was the idea was just thanks to a discussion with another woman pilot regarding the fact that many years ago, because we are saying that the first edition was 2008, many years ago we were just a few women all around the aeronautical field. We are just there was also a big difficulty in communication. It was not so easy to connect. There was no WhatsApp. So many things that are now facilitated. But at that time, the idea was to try to create a meeting like Fledonna, but to create a network. So to give the possibility to the ladies to meet each other, to create this kind of network. And this idea is something that was always on my background, try to connect each other and try to help each other, because we can do really a lot of things. Unfortunately, many times we are not able, let's say, able to open our heart, our mind to all the other ladies together with us. So what we have to do is just to try to stay together and to build together, because just together we can improve a lot. I know that with many things are just succeeding. So after many years, Fledonna is just an example of what we can do, because we have a friendship since many years with a lot of persons from military and civil, parachuting, controller, whatever. So this is something really that I want to keep. It's not easy, because in this period it was supposed to be in Cremona in April, of course, and so we just postponed over another year. But it's something that it's important to keep. Like there are the two associations that I'm joining to these two just for the same reason. The one is the Zonta. Federica knows very well. The Zonta International is an American association that is just for promoting the women in all the aspects. And in Italy there is the Zonta Club also, because there are several local clubs. The Zonta Club is something that it's easy to manage, because just meeting with Zoom, but we are creating something all around the world, because now we have in Europe, but there are several ladies that are joining in this group for working together and creating a network. Similar situation also we have there is in Italy an association that is called ADA, Associazione Donne dell'Aria, that was made by Fiorenza De Bernardi, the first real lady pilot in commercial aeronautical parts. And she was the idea, she just started many years ago, and now we are following what she did. It was to create an association at Italian level just for all the persons that are ladies, of course, involved in aeronautical space activity. So just to create a reality and network. Now we are more than 200 persons, ladies, inside this WhatsApp group and this association. And this, I think, is just the focus of what I want to keep doing, just to connect, to try to support the new and the young, because there are some moment in which if you have economical support or just support for what you want to do, it's absolutely perfect. So what I think is just the activity that we can do, considering that there are some young like you that are just starting, is try to support as much as possible and to give you the possibility to go as fast and as high you want.
Well, this is wonderful. And that's also something that we as women in aerospace are trying to do. So we can really relate to this idea. You mentioned many times that when you started, you were one of the first women then in the aerospace field. How do you feel? You partially answered to this, but how do you feel about being a woman then in the aerospace field? How you felt in the past and maybe how you feel now? And how did this affect your life?
It's not easy. It's a question that many times I'm posing. As I told you, I think I like the challenges. So that means that I know that I was in many situations the only woman. So it was not easy because we have to be accepted. At work, at the beginning, there were some situations not easy to manage because they were not accepting a boss that is a woman. That's the part of the story. Absolutely, let's say, normal for that time. And I think I was trying always to be like I am, without hiding anything, and trying to do all the things that all the others were just doing. Fortunately for me, I just had many bosses that were okay, accepting my role, my capacity. And probably the only real big problem I had with a boss that was a woman, but because there was a kind of contrast. But except for them, for that experience, I think in the aeronautical job means something that you have to do. Probably the situation is not so worst as also now. But in the aeronautical field means the part that for me is the second job, means the flight and all the activity linked. Yeah, there are many persons that still don't want to share too much with the ladies, and they think that probably ladies have to stay on another corner, not that one. And during the attempt for the record, I received a lot of let's say indication like this one. So why are you doing this stuff? Why are you not flying like normal also as all the other? So I think depend of how much we can be able to change the mind of the person. I think many things have been changed since the beginning of my beginning. Now we have just to work on this generation and the previous generation. So just to increase the information and the possibility, and to show the possibility that women can do really whatever. I was very happy to see that there was a baby doll with an astronaut and Samantha and so on, because this means that the message is starting really from the beginning. The so-called role model now is changing, is really changing. Something that was absolutely impossible to imagine at my time, now is something that you can find. So slowly, I think also the rest of the world will adapt. It will last, it will cost more than another generation, I think, but we are changing something.
Well, I think you showed the word, your value, and all the battles were worth it because you hold the altitude world record with the Gyroplan. So, and I also know that you gained 9 world records during the same flight, right? So,
yeah.
how is this possible?
That was another incredible challenge to me. Also, the first one was just for fun. We have every year we have a flight that is the first of the year flight, and we are used with all the members of the flight club to fly around the mountain, to go to Cortina and to go around. And that time, it was 2015, was just in difficulty. I was flying alone with my gyro, and I was in difficulty because there was a lot of wind against me, and so all the other with the plane just were flying very fast toward the destination, the target. But for me it was difficult, not just because the gyro is a small machine, is an open cockpit, and so it's very sensible to the flight, to the wind, and so I was flying very low, very slow. So I decided to climb, but just a little bit. I started climbing. So at the end, just to summarize, at the end, I realized that I was flying very high. In respect to all the other, I was absolutely flying very high. But for the first time in my life, I was really realizing that to fly high was something absolutely normal for me. No problem, no feeling dangerous, whatever. So we went back, and there was just joking. You want to reach your friend Samantha, that at that time was already in the International Space Center. And the friendship with Samantha was just born with the Flydonna. She was the first military person invited for Flydonna. So from 2009-8, we started this friendship. And in 2015, I was in 14, when she started for the International Space Center, I was in Baikonur with her, just to see her. So in 2015, when I was trying to do the record, she was already in the International Space Center. So I wrote to her, say, I have this idea. What do you think to try? I was saying a female record because, I'm just, I don't know. I don't want to go just over. I want to do a step by step. At that moment, the first step was a female record because I was, testing myself also. And she replied very soon, and she said, why a female? Try a male. A world record, not just to stop with female. And it was correct. It was absolutely correct. But considering my capacity, what was my habit, I started thinking, okay, let's go at the maximum altitude I can reach. But starting from February, the flight was in January, so starting from February, for 6 months more or less, I start a big experience, trying to understand first of all what was the real record to go over, and I discovered that it was a big number, but it was not impossible. So I start working to realize, to check step by step, as I said, what was necessary to do. So first of all, I was trying to give to fit, to be in a good shape and to have a good training, physical training. Not just because I was supposed to do anything, but considering that I was supposed to be exposed to very low temperature and a lot of additional stress, because it was pressure, the altitude. The idea was, okay, let's stay in a very good shape at least. And there was also a psychological training, because you know, you have to get to stay at least in touch with a lot of let's say possibility. The engine you don't know, and this time also there were so many things unknown to me that there was a little worry. So I was trying during the first 6 months to really control, or at least to know as much as possible the things. For example, I was not I was not aware of anything regarding the oxygen, because up to a certain level you must use the oxygen. There is not enough oxygen in the atmosphere to do. So I was working and was reading a lot, checking with the Samantha and friend of Samantha that just climbing experience, to check how much oxygen, what were the characteristics, and to understand the dimension of the bottle and so on. Not only I was just trying to understand also the rules, because there were a huge quantity of rules that the International Federation is posing to have the certification of the record. So I started studying all these rules, and you know, it's not easy to manage all this information together with the normal life. That means job, the normal job during the first 8 hours of the day, and after the flight structure, and after the student, the flight, and the family, because it was also the family. So it was really difficult, but I took my time. I mean, I was not in Russia. I was okay. So after the first 6 months, everything was more or less fixed. One important thing was to get the permission to go in their space in that altitude, because you don't know if someone knows, but there are some altitudes that are not allowed for normal, let's say, general aviation, that are allowed for commercial aviation, where the plane are flying. And the altitude I reached was just a commercial altitude, typical altitude, not for normal general aviation. So there was also all the problem related to the authorization that were not so easy, because in Italy, nothing is easy. And a person that is want to do a record like this one with a gyro, you will see, I want to show you also the gyro. Can you imagine? It's not so easy, absolutely. Fortunately, also in that case, I just meet a very wise man on top of the authorization, and he was absolutely the most important person, because say, yes, I trust you, I understand that you are not a crazy person, but you have some solid information, solid base, so okay, I'll give you the authorization. And so in August, I started. Every weekend, I was allowed to fly in a position close to my airfield, and it was trying to fit and to find the correct setting for the gyro, first of all, and for me, second of all, because one of the aspects that was I was I mean, theoretical point of view, I was aware of the fact that the temperatures were very, very low, minus 50, minus 40. But theoretically, I mean, this means that you don't know exactly how much what can you feel. So all the study and also tentative to cover as much as possible, because the low temperature are very, very very impressive. Minus 50 was something very impressive. So at the end, just to summarizing, there were 2 windows to do the record. The first windows was the November the 7th. I didn't succeed because there were some different situations, many parameters. It was not easy to understand. But one of the things was very difficult, and was to manage the decision to give up, because I just was there. It was a female record this time, truly, but it was not a real record. And so I decided to give up before the fuel before the ending of the fuel inside the tank of the gyro. That was a good decision because I just landed with less than 1 liter of fuel. But we decided to do the same, to do again the day after. And the day after, I was just as fast as possible, and I reached the target. And as you say, there are some feelings that are not easy to understand because I was completely focused on doing and flying. And but at the end, it was an unbelievable result. Not only for me, but I think also for the machine, of course, but also because I was the real demonstration that if you want something and if you believe that you can do something, because it was step by step. I didn't do just one flight. At the end, I did 11 flight, 12 flight. So means every flight was an improvement to something. But so if you really want to reach something, you can do. Just take your time, take your capability, but you can do. It's just a way to show how it's possible. Yeah.
Yes, in your potential.
Exactly. So, if it's possible, I would like to show just a small video, just 2 minutes. Stay tuned. It's a summary of. Here we go. So there were just some communication with the ATC, but they were just in Italian. But just to say that when I realized that it was on the top, I tried to call them and to inform, but they were just looking at me and see on the radar screen. But it was impossible to talk with them. But it was an important moment because really it was a feeling unbelievable.
Well, the video is definitely impressive and very, very inspiring. So it makes me want to sign for flight lessons now. Okay, then I would jump to the second part of the webinar. I guess we will have questions from the participants at this point. So I invite all of you participants to turn on the videos, and please book your spot in the chat so you can write your number and name. So we go in order, and I will call you for, I will say your name, and you can ask your question to Donatella. The first one I see is Marzia Zucchelli.
Hi. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for this inspiring webinar, and really thank you for being here. And I'm very curious about, you have a lot of passions, you join a lot of associations, and also you have a very top career. So I'm wondering, how can you combine all these different aspects of your life in just one day? I mean, in 24 hours per day. And yeah, so, and how much is it hard to you to do all this, to combine all these passions and your career, your personal life, and how is it hard for you as a woman?
Good question, Marzia. Yeah, sometimes I'm saying the same, but you have to consider that at least a few things are just together, not all together, as you said. Now, for example, the passion for the sky and the night just passed to discover the sky is something that is over, but in any case, during the last days, I'm spending the night. I don't know if you try to see the new Comex, the new Wise. You have to try, because it's something unbelievable. She's wonderful. I am used to wake up very early, 3:30, and to see and to do some picture. Always the same picture, but for me, something special. So that part is not connected. During the record, yes, I don't know how I did, because it was very difficult to manage all together, and probably it was, I don't know. I think I usually say, if you want to do something, you can find the time, and that probably was true. Now, probably just looking back, I can say, yes, how I did. But at that time, I was doing everything. You know, we are women, means that we can do a multitasking in a very incredible way. So I'm sure that everyone in this screen is able to do many things, and to do with, good effect for everything. So I think just if there is a passion, like one of the things that is just characterizing my life is the passion. I cannot do something if I'm not with passion for this. Also the job, I'm doing something that I like. I was really lucky, because I was doing every time something really interesting for me, and with passion I was doing a lot of things, additional things, structure, whatever, it's just passion. So if you ever, I think you can do. But during the last week I'm sleeping a little less than usual. Thanks, Martin.
Thank you too. Thank you.
So we contributed to steal a bit of your sleeping time with this webinar. Okay, the next one is Anna Maria Nassisi. It's also, Anna Maria is also one of the leaders of the Rome local group.
Hi to all. Alessia, perhaps you have disabilitated my video.
No, now you can show. You can show up.
Yes, I've checked, but it's been done from the host. But
yes,
anyway,
yes, Anna Maria, you can turn it.
Oh, okay, perfect. We can see. My
No, no,
question is taking into account your experience that are more or less in the same generation. You have highlighted more time that was normal in the past that we was considered an anomaly. I remember also an experience in aeronautics when I go in an industry. There isn't the toilet for women. I have asked to go there, and the CEO offered to me his room. But and I totally share what you have highlighted in terms of which is the engine to go on. That is the curiosity, first of all, and the passion. Is important because if you don't have these two requirements, it's hard to go on in this way. But today, with where the situation, I think, is really changed respect to our generation. I see a lot of women also in engineering field when we was 5, 6 perhaps, and the other one was all secretary, contractual, and so on.
Yeah.
Do you think that there is a real changing, or we have to wait and to continue to fight in order to have the recognition of our competence and our knowledge that we can contribute in a complementary way?
I absolutely agree with you. I think we are just at the beginning, but the respect, at least my beginning, I can appreciate that there are a lot of changes. But as you say, this is just the beginning. We have to fight again, yes, absolutely. And as I was saying, we have to support the ladies because they have to fight now. We can support them, we can fight, but I think my role now is not more to fight with my boss. My boss will never change, of course. But to support the new generation and to explain that women and men are just the same. They can do the same in flight as in other activity. So what I think it's more important is just that we can spread what we are doing and what we did, because the new generation and the future generation can just start from that. As I said, the baby doll with the astronaut, and a lot of young ladies coming to me say, how can I be an astronaut? How can I start flying? It's something that a few years ago, let's say 10, 20 years ago, was absolutely not possible. So I believe that there is still a lot of space before reaching something that is equality, but at least my feeling is that something is changing.
I have a second question for you about the association. You mentioned Zanta and the other association. Zanta is more general, is not for sector, and other for the women that have passion in the air. And as you know, I have another association for the aerospace sector, mainly devoted to the space, but we are trying to enlarge and including also the aeronautics. And as you know, there are a lot of other associations in order to support the women in this growing. What do you think about on the real benefit coming from this type of association?
The benefit for the young person that are just approaching the association, I hope it could be the fact that they are just feeling that they're not alone, they can be supported. One of the things I was joining Zonta, I was in 2000 more or less, I won a fellowship It was an Amelia Earhart, and was specific for astrophysics, astronautical field. But it was a big economical support for me at that time. So thanks to them, I was able to go to America to do my PhD and to do a lot of things. So, for example, something like to know that there is a network. It's good that now there also the possibility to know that there are all these associations. Because at my time, it was really impossible to know Zonta, because I was just able to see a paper with some indication for the fellowship, but there were no possibility to know additional information for the other activity. So what we have to do is try to spread again and to support and to invite the young to join to this association. It doesn't matter if it's the one specific or just something broader, but what is important is just that they can find in this association something that is similar, and they can find, at least for what was my experience, something that is supporting them. I don't know if it's your experience, because I know that many of you are just this kind of spirit is a new association for me, because I just knew the name but was not absolutely aware of anything. And so I am happy to join, to stay in this moment. I don't know if I can join, because really my time is not so much also for this. But thanks for this, because it's a good occasion also to talk with you.
Thank you very much. And another thing is relevant to always for the association, but perhaps now is time to have a cross-link among them, in order, because if you consider a young woman that have to choose one instead of another, I think there is some difficulty, because we have a lot of associations also in the aerospace with a different declination, because also astrophysics, geophysics, or any other STEM activity are within the aerospace. So do you think that now is it time to create also a cross-link among this association?
It could be a wonderful idea, Anna Maria. Yeah, because it's really, there is no just one reason to join one association instead of another one. And Federica, as a Zonta, why can't we do something, just a cross-link, because Federica is also Zonta, and so I believe that it's a good idea. It's a good idea. I don't know how to really do and what we can really do, but probably it's something that we can work on, because why not?
Yeah, of course. Also with the eClub Italy, we can organize maybe something, or invite someone more to have another webinar. I don't know. We can also talk with Fernanda, and
right.
We can
because this objective can create a critical mass that is stronger than to have separated one.
Yeah, I think it will be difficult to avoid the splitting, but to stay together means to try to have some, let's say, for example, common project, and to stay together in a common project could be absolutely possible. Otherwise,
exactly.
Yeah, because otherwise I don't think every association will be happy to lose his identity.
No. In fact, for this reason, I spoke about cross-link.
Yes, I think to have some common project maybe is a wonderful idea. Yeah.
Okay, it's nice.
Thank you very much, Donatella.
Thank you too.
Yes, it's very nice to see that new ideas are coming from this webinar as well. Okay, the next question is for Federica Angeletti then.
Fede.
Hi, so yeah, I just want to ask you, as I'm doing a PhD myself, if getting a PhD degree was a boost for your career, what was its impact on your professional life? Or on the contrary, do you think that you would have more or less the same career also without it? So at present, and based on your experience, would you recommend doing PhD for young generations?
Yes, it was a boost, as you say, because I was not really using the booster totally, because I changed and I start the industry, in the career in the industry, instead of staying in the university, as I was supposed to do after the PhD. I won also another position, but at the end I decided to go and to stay in the industry. But it was a great experience, opening a lot of my mind, but also my ability to understand better the other people. So I think it's something that if you can do is absolutely good for you. The career, yes, because I was recognized as a result, so it was good to start not from the beginning, but just a little bit higher. But for the experience, I think the experience was something absolutely important. So go absolutely in this direction.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Now I am at the third year, so yes,
Great.
It was a real experience.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, next one in line is Adina Joseph.
Hello.
Oh, Dina, hello.
Well, this is my first time here in this group, and I'm really very inspired and motivated by your talk. And my question is, I had actually read about you on the internet, and I have come across a book that you have written. So I'd like to know what inspired you to write that book, and what is there that you had described in that.
Yeah, I didn't say anything in the book. There's at the end of the experience for the record, I realized that I was just collecting a lot of things, and the way the way that it was done by myself, but with also my husband, my friends, a lot of person around to me, was unbelievable difficult. It was long, it was difficult, was something important. So I decided with my sister to write down. She was just pushing me, no, don't give up, because you know, at the end you just want to relax after the last months were really stressful. And so I say, okay, I want to write down, and as you say, I just wrote the book very fast. Just I don't know exactly how to say, but it was something that was inside to me, and so I wrote a book. Fortunately, I found also the possibility to publish, and it now is also in English. And the reason was to give the possibility to show what I was saying, that I was starting the idea of the record from the scratch. I mean, from the beginning, from nothing. I was not used to do some kind of stuff. But if you really want to reach something because you believe that you can do, I think this is a simple way to show that you can do. Was not doing anything different. I was living my life, but also working. And in the book, just the description of all the things that I was preparing every day. What were the difficulty I was trying to overcome, and so on. So it's just a story, a simple story, explain that yes, you can do more than what you think. You just have to trust in what the power you have can do.
Okay, we are slightly beyond, but we have another question from Elizabeth.
Hi, this is also my first time here, but I was wondering if you had any advice that you would give your younger self based on your experiences?
Many of the things that I was saying, probably, in the sense that, yeah, you have to follow what is your passion, as will say Anna Maria, because it's the most important things. And once you have let's say, discovered what you want to do, because it can just change during the year. But if you've ever found something that you want to follow, just go. And as I said to Adina, we have a lot of power inside our hands. Something that you don't know if you are not forced, let's say, to ask and to use. But so one of the things that someone is asking me, if I can do something, I don't know if I succeed, try. In any case, we have to try. The only thing they can do, yes, you try and it was not successful, but doesn't mean anything. You can try another way. Maybe it's just another direction different from the one that you choose. So the advice is just don't forget your dream, follow your passion, and go straight if you want. Don't care about the rest of the world. The most important part is just yourself.
That's
I don't know if
wonderful.
it's enough, Elizabeth, but...
What? Sorry?
No, I was just asking to Elizabeth if it was okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Is there a last question, maybe, from any of the participants?
I just want to say thank you, Donatella. I think I'm the only not technicist or administrative person in this meeting, but your story truly inspired me. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you too. Thank to everybody, because it was a real pleasure for me, as I said, and also a good occasion to know these ladies. That was absolutely nice. Thanks to Alessia, because it was the link, and thanks to Alessia, that was just with a lot of passion, because doing many things, I was not answering very fast to the mail, but she was patient enough to wait. So thank you.
It is, no, we thank you very much, Donatella, for being here today. Really, it has been wonderful hearing directly from you about all your achievements and experiences, and you being a woman in the aeronautical field. So I think it's something we can all learn from.
Thank you.
And I also want to thank all of you for participating today, for your contributions. I just want to remember you that other similar events will be organized in the next months. And also that all the information of these events will be in our website and also in our social media pages, our Facebook and Instagram pages. And in particular, in our Instagram account, we have started a campaign, some posts about women that we consider role models. And so I invite you to have a look there.
Perfect.
Now
I want just to add something before the end. If someone is just coming close to Venice, just make me a call, a mail, whatever. I would like just to have a flight with you, with the gyro, so you can have an experience.
Can I book myself?
Yes.
Me too.
It will be really a pleasure for me, because it's a kind of flight that you must try to have a different feeling. So don't forget, Venice is wonderful, so you can join two things, it's perfect. And to fly above the Venice area, it's a must. You must see. So thanks.
I think you will have many
Thank you very much.
participants here.
Thank you.
Okay, Alessia is just having all my coordinates, so cellular and email. So really, think about I'm here.
Thank you very much, Donatella. This is
Thank you
an
too.
amazing offer, yes. So thank you all, and then I wish you a good evening, and it was a pleasure to be here with you all today. I'll see you at the next event.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you too, Donatella.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.